Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tassie, and this is going to be one of my ghostly update vlogs. Now, I heard a lot from you guys from my last video. A lot of you guys really wanted me to keep these videos on my YouTube channel. I had people reaching out to me personally, which I definitely appreciate because you guys really let me know what you guys are interested in seeing, and these vlogs, they were really meant as something to get to know me better beyond just what you guys typically see, which is my mukbang, my cooking and everything. And I do talk a bit during my mukbangs as well, but a lot of people expressed interest in my ghostly updates, and I didn't really want to tie it in with my food, you know, because not everybody's going to be interested, and some people, they're going to be kind of frightened. So I wanted to do like a separate kind of a thing. Now, for my website though, I do write as a hobby, so you guys will see a lot of my articles that I'll push out as well when I do have more time, because I have more time to just like sit down, gather my thoughts and write it out versus always doing a vlog on it. I did recently do an article about dreaming of demons, and that's where you guys got to see me as a child and what I looked like, and really just, you know, what I always experienced growing up with my nightmares. And so definitely check that out if you guys are interested. Now, for this video here, you guys already saw the title. It's going to be about the differences between demonic entities or demons versus spirits and ghosts. So this is really going to be the big differences. Then again, these are like my own experiences. You all know I am not like a biblical person. I'm not a demonologist. I'm not going to have a lot of those type of knowledge and information. This is strictly from my own experience, things that have happened to me, because the point of these vlogs were really just to get to know me. So this is, again, strictly my own information. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't go around writing research papers on this, okay? Alright, so the first thing I want to let you guys all know, and I mentioned it in a previous video, demons are not common. You know, you're not going to walk around. Not every house is going to have one. I can count on one hand how many times I've actually encountered one. And I'm 31 years old. So, you know, it's probably a bit more prevalent for me because I can see them. And maybe I know a lot of haunted houses and a lot of haunted people. So I think it's just maybe more prevalent for me. But you could go your whole life never experiencing it. And some people might experience things, but they weren't really sure if it was a demonic entity or was it just a ghost. So this video here, it's my own experiences and what really helps me differentiate them beyond just seeing them, because not everybody is going to walk around seeing it. All right, so some of the big differences between a demonic entity versus a ghost or a spirit. Whenever I come across, you know, like how I can see ghosts and spirits and everything, it will jolt me at first because I wasn't expecting it, because it's not normal. You're not supposed to see them in general. But when I do, it like scares me, but then I will yell at it and it'll go away. Now, for a demonic entity though, I'm a totally different person. I do not yell at them. I completely go into like, I shut down and I'm like, all I'm thinking about is how I'm going to escape. I do not interact with them. I do not acknowledge them. They know I can see them. And they know, they know that I can see them. But the thing is with a lot of demonic entities, they are also very, very intelligent. They have this intelligence that's beyond a lot of humans. All right. So they are extremely intelligent beings for what they are. You're going to have a ghost who's on a cycle, who's not going to notice you, who may be doing its own thing. It can't get out of the loop. It can't escape certain situations. It's stuck, basically. It needs your assistance. But a ghost is not going to be able to come and do the things a demonic entity can. So a demonic entity is smart where they can have full conversations with you. They can... there's a lot of stuff I have to talk about first, but it's basically about, like, you know, the levels of the demons. There are different levels. Some are stronger than others, etc. But the key thing here is that they are a lot more intelligent. You know, they have that light, like how, you know, when you're interacting with a human, most humans, they're gonna have a light inside of them where you know that they're intelligent, you know. But a ghost and everything, it's not gonna be there. Now, you know, like a lot of people will confuse a ghost versus a demon because ghosts can have playful nature. You know, like they can throw a ball around. They can turn lights on and off. You know, that's child's play, okay, compared to what a demon can do. A demon is basically a ghost on steroids, and it's very evil. So, like, a demon's idea of play is tormenting you, physically hurting and harming you, especially if they know that they can get you scared and terrified of them. And especially if they know you have a special gift. It really kind of irks them a lot. So, it's very dangerous for people like me. Now, you know, demons, what demons can do is they can also possess things. They can possess inanimate objects. They can also possess, I have personally never had one-on-one experience of a human being who was possessed by a demon. Like, you know how people talk about like The Exorcist and everything, the movie I'm referencing, Hollywood, because I'm not a biblical person. I grew up Lutheran, but you know, I didn't get to the part where we talked about that kind of stuff. I don't even know if you talk about it in church. All right, back to the subject. So I have never seen an actual human being possessed by a demon. I am not saying it can't happen, but I can't talk about that because I don't have personal experience on it. Now, I do know that demons can influence you, though. People who are in a weakened state, whether you're sick, you're going through tragedy, you know, you're depressed. So they may influence you with thoughts and all sorts of crazy stuff. But I have never seen that extent where they were physically, you know, like The Exorcist. Someone crawling on a wall. Like, I've never seen that. Now, as far as everybody always asks me, you know, like, what does a demon look like? What are, like, I guess a lot of people don't really know that demons have different levels. And a lot of this goes hand in hand with the level of the demon. It's kind of weird, but there are different levels of demons. All right. So you guys know my history. For 14 years, you know, Michael the demon, he was attached to me. And I have never encountered another demonic entity that was as strong as Michael. So and you know, because Michael was with me for so long, and this part may sound really, really crazy and weird. I think he may have imprinted on me. I don't really know. Okay, I know what the term imprinting means, but I don't really know if it applies in my situation because I don't really know if demons can really imprint on people and vice versa, if a person can imprint on a demon. Anyways, so that's what I feel like, though. That's like just the impression I get, like whenever I think about it, because all the demons I have ever come across, they have never hurt me. They have never bothered me. They will watch me and they will never take their eyes off of me. But it's not like a brethren thing, like a brotherly love. It is nothing like that. It's still hostile, but it's like a familiarity. Like we are familiar with each other. And it's like a feeling. It's like when Michael was with me. Because Michael was with me for so long, I feel like his personality and who he was is me, because he was with me since I was 10, and then I became an adult with him, you know. So I feel like a lot of it, their mindset and how they think, a lot of I just feel like he somehow imprinted on me, and it's not like I'm a demon, but it just kind of feels it. But that's the only way I can explain it, because he was with me for so long. I grew up with him. And so when I come across another demonic entity, I can sense their strength levels, like how strong they are. I can sense what they're thinking and what they're trying to do. And it's kind of funny, but it's basically, okay, it's kind of scary. But what happens is we both look at each other and you're trying to gauge what the other person can do, and what they're waiting for. They're waiting to see if I'm going to do anything to them, because they think I'm going to hurt them in some way. I'm completely not going to, but because there's nothing I can do. But that is the feeling that I'm getting from them, that they're just wondering if I'm going to do anything and they're just watching me. So now that you guys know that there are different levels, because some are just stronger than others. Like Michael worked really hard to get to the point where he was. Back to what I was saying though, as far as like, what does a demon look like? It's going to, most of the times, you guys, it depends on the situation. Okay, first, if a demon wants something from you, it will attempt to show itself to you. If it does not want something from you, it will not attempt to show itself to you. You will feel its presence, don't get me wrong, but like a physical form, you probably will not see it. Those of you who can or have seen a demonic entity, a lot of times it is not the true form that you are currently looking at. It is the form it's choosing to show you. And a lot of times it's probably going to be a fair thing, because if it wants something from you, it's not going to show you its true form to frighten you where you're not going to want to interact with it. So like, for example, Michael, he always tried to keep himself in a certain form to not frighten me. And it was always of a very tall, slender man. And I don't know who Slender Man is. I've heard it referenced in pop culture, but I don't know what that is. But anyways, don't confuse the two. So when he did try to come into, he tried to look like as if you are looking at me in real life, like with skin and everything. Like ghosts a lot of times are going to be kind of slightly translucent. It also depends on that ghost and how much energy it has. So some ghosts and spirits, they may look like it's a full, but in your mind, you're registering it as a person, but they're not fully here like we are. Demons, especially if they are stronger, they can come as a physical person, like if they have that much energy. So in another video, I had mentioned how Michael tried to come as my brother. And this was all to not make me afraid of him. And so my brother in my head is a muscular person. So Michael came as the Hulk. He was wearing my brother's clothes, but he looked like the Hulk. And I don't think Michael had enough energy to create a head. So it was a headless Hulk standing in front of me. And it completely terrified me. And I knew it was Michael, and he was trying to come up as my brother so that I wouldn't be afraid of him, because I'm not afraid of my brother. And my brother and I were pretty close. So, some of them do have that kind of strength. Now, a lot of times it will be like what you would see with a ghost. It will be not full on like me, and you, hopefully you. And so it doesn't look like that. Like it will be more translucent. But I think a lot of times it is the person's, your mind, you are registering it as it's supposed to be a human shape. So you create a human shape in your head, what you see. That also ties in with the true form. So the true form of a demonic entity, it is more animalistic than human. All right. And I have seen the true form, it is very weird. It's one of those moments like where your mind breaks because you're not really sure what you're looking at. You think you know what you're looking at, but you can't really gather what you're looking at. It's so weird. It's almost like it's tar, but it's trying to create a shape and it's moving. It's not smoke, okay, you guys? It's not like black smoke. That's not what it is. But it's like, it's just weird. And it'll have horns and legs and eyes suddenly, and it doesn't make sense. But I will say the closest thing for a demonic entity, they are animalistic, where they have animal-like features. And it's not like it's a dinosaur, because we kind of know what dinosaurs look like based off of what scientists have showed us, but it's not a dinosaur. I don't know. It's not skeletons. It's not skin and bones. But that's the closest way I can explain what it looks like. And a lot of times, like, when I think about, like how they have, like, in movies, because I've never known a kid who did this in real life, but how they talk about, like, in movies where they have, like, a kid, and the kid is drawing a creepy person, right? like in the kid's head, like that's kind of how they are imagining it, like where the demonic entity may be trying to show itself to that kid at like that. Like even in my dreams, the demonic entities, they will eventually show them their true selves to me, but when they first approach me, they're always a human shape. But when you look at them closer, they don't look right. And that's what a lot of demons do. They can't really get the details correct. Like they'll kind of know in general, but they can't figure out the details. Like, so when you look closely at it and you really focus on the details, you'll notice everything is wrong. And that's pretty much how you'll know it's a demon. Now, this part may be a bit more advanced, but there are demonic entities that can take ownership. They can own certain areas. For example, when I went to that ghost hunting class I had mentioned in my previous videos, when I went to that class, the people there who were hosting it, they were looking for a ghost, a specific ghost, somebody who had died in the school. And they were trying to get the ghost to come out. And basically we went into like this cafeteria area that has a lot of known activity. And we're sitting in the cafeteria, and the entire time looking into the kitchen, because I'm like, it's in the kitchen. You know, like, well, it wasn't the entity they were looking for though. So what happened was they went there looking for this entity, but they were willing to talk to any entity that was going to be around. And so I didn't say anything though, because at the school there is a demonic entity there. And this is where I mentioned that it's probably a little bit more advanced. Basically with demonic entities, if the demonic entity has kind of taken ownership of that area, you can't pass, like you can't take a ghost out of that area without dealing with the demonic entity. So the whole time I'm sitting there like, oh my God, don't call for them, don't call for them. Because I didn't want to say anything, because it's kind of like if I say something, okay, like they were trying to call for the ghost that they were looking for, and he wasn't responding. And I'm like, he ain't gonna respond to you. Like, because you need to deal with the demonic entity that's there. And if you don't, you will never get them. And that may be a bit more advanced knowledge for some people who didn't know this part, but yes, there are, and that's probably where I have come across so many. It's because they are around. And in Hmong, we actually have a saying for them. We call them tu chu. So tu chu, it basically means like the landlord, you know, or the owner, and you need permission before you can do something, because the ghost who had passed away there, they were trying to release it out of the school. I don't know. I don't really know where it goes, but they were trying to release it. Maybe I don't know. But because I had mentioned that teacher does Reiki. Some type of energy work. I don't really know if it's Reiki because another girl had mentioned that she does Reiki, but it was more for like her menstrual cramps. So she was a master of a lot of things. So it was like a lot of other stuff I had never heard of. I just remember her talking about Reiki. And so she was basically looking for that spirit to help it go yonder. So yeah, but then but there was a demon there at the school that actually would own that spirit, and you can't just take it out. Back to that story though, we did eventually, because I kept looking into the kitchen, and then one of the person who was recording everything kept looking at me in the camera, and then finally they were like, is there something in the kitchen? And then so our whole group eventually moved into the kitchen, and then that's where we were able to make connection with another spirit. So it was kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely an experience. Like, the reason why I do a lot of things, like in real life, I do a lot of weird stuff. People might think it's weird. It's like, you've never shown interest in this, or this isn't like you at all. I will never know unless I do it. So I love to do random weird things. So some final thoughts on demons before we actually move on to a fun story time, you guys. I have a fun, scary story time to tell you guys afterwards. But final thoughts on demons, really, if they want something from you, they will make contact. They will try to get into your good graces. Not to be your friend, though. Don't ever confuse that as to be your friend. Even Michael, who was with me for a very long time, whose ultimate goal was to be with me forever and not hurt me, all right? If I ignore him and I don't listen to him, he will hurt me. So don't think for a second they won't hurt you, okay? They will. Now, typically, if they don't want anything from you, they will just hurt you. So keep that in mind, you guys. I recently was like on YouTube and I was watching this video of this parrot, and I absolutely love this parrot. It's super cute because he can talk. And the owner was telling him, you know, it's time to go to the doctors because he needed to get his nails cut. And the parrot, he kept, like, he was really anxious, so it sounded like gibberish, but he was saying, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I already told you I don't want to go. So he kept saying it really fast, but in a parrot's voice. And I had commented about how cute it was, and I'm thankful that my own cat and dog can't talk, because if they ever said that to me, I would never take them to the vet. I would just be like, okay, we won't go. No, somebody had commented after me and was like, that's not cute at all. He's like trying to summon a demon. And I'm like, how do you know that's what it's like to summon a demon? And he said he tried to summon a demon. That's how he knows. Oh my God. Now, I can safely say I have never tried to summon a demon in my entire life. All right, so a funny ghost story time. If you guys went to my site and you read my blog about where it all began, so this is like the beginning before I started doing YouTube and where I was in life and how it came about. A lot of people always ask me why did I start doing YouTube, and there was a phase that I went through, which was the partying phase. I partied a lot. There was a time where I had achieved a lot of my life goals and I didn't know what else there was to do, so I was partying a lot. Now, there was a girl that, you know, I had known, we were good girlfriends, and I had never been to her house. But my friends, they knew that, you know, when I start drinking, you can ask me anything and I will answer you. And so she's like, you know, we were drinking, I was drunk, and then she asked me like, oh, is there anything in my apartment? Do I have like a ghost in my apartment? And I was looking at her and I saw this woman. There's a woman who's in her apartment. And I was like, oh yeah, you have this ghost and she's in your apartment, you know? Didn't think much of it. And then finally, this was back like in the spring that she had asked me. And then finally, it was like Christmas time, and she invited me and a bunch of our friends to come over and drink and have dinner and play cards together. We played a lot of spades. And so, you know, like we're all hanging out, drinking, having a great time. And the ghost woman who was in her apartment, she was actually hiding in the bathroom. And so, like, you know, we're about to leave, and I'm like, oh, I have to go pee. And so I go to go pee, and then one of my other girlfriends, like, she bursts into the room. She's like, oh, I gotta go pee too. So, you know, like, I get up, and I'm washing my hands, and she's sitting down, and then she was like, oh, and I'm tipsy at this point. So, you guys, anything will come out. And then I'm, like, washing my hands, and she's about to start peeing, and she was like, oh, so, like, that ghost girl, like, do you see her here? Like, where is she? Like, have you seen her in the apartment this whole night? And I was like, I smiled at her sitting on the toilet, and I was like, yeah, she's actually behind the shower curtain. And then I open the door and I leave, right? And to this day, I don't know how my girlfriend got off the toilet so fast, because as soon as I closed that door and I took 2 steps away from the bathroom, she flew out of the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my, did you finish peeing? She literally flew out of the bathroom. She starts screaming and she slams the door shut and she is screaming. And now everybody is like, what's wrong? What's going on? What's going on? And I told them that the ghost girl, she's in the bathroom. She's behind the shower curtain. And then everybody turns and looks at the bathroom door, and then the door starts opening. Now, when a ghost opens anything, all right, most of them is not going to have the energy to smoothly open a door and close it, okay? How it opens, it's like this. That's how it opens. So it looks like someone's pushing it back a little bit and then pulling it and pulling it. And everybody watched the door slowly open, dead silent. Suddenly everybody starts screaming, everybody's grabbing their stuff. Like, this was wintertime, you guys. We had to find our keys, our jackets, our shoes. I'm like, I'm just having a good time. I'm like, I don't know why you guys are all so scared. It's not like she was like a demonic entity, but it just wasn't normal. They were not expecting this. Here I am, because I'm getting a ride, so I'm like looking for my shoes, looking for my jacket. Everybody ran out of that place so fast. They're all screaming as they're running outside. People were holding their shoes. So yeah, that is, and to this day, we still talk about that story. And then, but that's when my friends learn not to ask me things when I'm drunk, unless you really want to know. Alright, you guys, so that was my episode on demons versus spirits. Big major differences and what I know. A lot of people always ask me what are the differences. You know, a demon is going to be able to hurt you. A lot of ghosts, they're not going to be able to hurt you. They may scare you, they may bug you, but they're not going to physically attack you, whereas a demon can. And I really hope that's not something you're going through. Alright, you guys, that's it for this episode. Until my next one.